let's get back to step one. Now, the problem here that's happening when you go through this process of self-realization, the problem that's happening in step one is that most people are closed-minded. Most people don't even fully believe that they're creating their reality. Not even the people that's saying it. There's a lot of people that's saying that they create their reality, but if I was to ask them, did they create some type of negative circumstance? I'm not going to use anything in particular, but if I was to ask them, did they create that? They would backpedal out of it. They would say, nah, they didn't do that. So I don't know what that is. When they put that join my team thing on there, somebody let me know what that is, because I have absolutely no clue how this TikTok live thing works. Okay, so getting back to what I'm saying. Most people are not open-minded enough to even have a self-realization. Most people, like I said earlier, most of the world is under a spell. They are under a program, and they really think that this is how life is supposed to be. No, we have collectively created this world that we live in. We have collectively created. Hey, somebody gave me something, 10 roses. Okay, goddess. Thank you. Goddess Oba collection. I appreciate that. Okay. So the problem is that most people are closed-minded. Let me write this down, okay? Most people are closed-minded. And they suffer from cognitive dissonance, okay? Cognitive dissonance. I had somebody on my video the other day, and I made a whole nother video and told him, sir, you are dealing with cognitive dissonance. Go look through the one of my most popular videos as of lately anyway was about when you make a timeline shift, how you lose family and friends. And he made a comment on it that didn't make any sense. And I knew that, sir, this is where you at, okay? You right here. You're being closed-minded. So the reason why this is important, why the first step is for you to break this, which is breaking a spell, okay? The first step to you breaking a spell is you becoming aware of how close-minded you actually are, which is hard. That's why this first step, man, if you can't get past this first step, so if you are one of those people that's always talking about, like you're afraid, like the guy, he was talking about like, be careful, talking about magic and witchcraft. Like, sir, the whole world is run by magicians, okay? I'm not even going to get into the details of that. Not today. The whole world is run by magicians, okay? The man when you go to court and he got that robe on, and he stand up and he say, all rise, or he might even be sitting there and everybody in the room stand up, they under his damn control. That's magic, my guy. That's magic. That's programming, because they really don't have any authority. They're pretending to have authority because they're using magic. So my point here is that your first step is that you have to start breaking a spell. You have to start breaking the spell in order for you to get out of this loop of being closed-minded and create the reality that you really want to live in. You have to be open-minded. If you are going to be all closed off to, like, if you are somebody that's like still under a religious spell and you still waiting for like you really think that a physical Jesus is coming back to save you. You probably here. Okay? I say that with all love. I say that with all tenderness and kindness. You are here in the cognitive dissonance world. And it's time to break a spell. It's time to break the spell. And then you're probably like, well, okay, how do I do that? Well, how universal law works is that when you unconsciously or consciously know that you are tired of living this same life, like you know that something is missing, you know that there has to be more to life than what you're living, you're going to start unconsciously creating scenarios, because you're always a creator, whether you realize it or not. You're going to unconsciously start creating scenarios that's going to kind of force you to open your mind up. Long story short, you're going to get triggered. You're going to create a scenario. You're creating everything. You're going to subconsciously or unconsciously create a scenario that triggers you. It's going to piss you off. But you need that. You need that. Because watch this. You need an adversary. In order for you to wake up, you need an adversary. Now, I want you to listen to the word adversary. By the way, for those who are new or you just chimed in, my name is Dr. Kamisha. I am a metaphysical psychologist, and I teach law of attraction, manifestation, the science of the womb, reincarnation, karma. If that's your jam, if that's your thing, go ahead and hit the follow button. I also help women learn how to get paid to speak, because that's what I've been doing for the past 6 years. I quit my job in 2018 to teach metaphysics full time. So if that's also your jam, I want you to go ahead on and hit the follow button, okay? Because what I'm doing is I'm teaching the metaphysics behind the mindset that you need to shift into in order for you to shift your reality into a paid speaker. I want you to shift it that hard. I want you to shift it into a reality where you're getting paid to do what I'm doing right now. I just had a class in New York where people paid tickets to come hear me teach a self-realization class. So that's you. Go ahead and hit the follow button. Okay. So what I also teach in my self-realization classes is something called word magic. Now you're about to watch me do it. You probably have seen people on the internet doing it. I believe I do it the best, but whatever. Some of those people might even be copying me. That's my ego talking though. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with that. All right. So anyway, you need an adversary. You know that you want to break free out of this prison. And so you start summoning an adversary, and an adversary is also an advisor. Adversary, advisor. They're almost the same word, sound, tone, frequency, vibration. When words are really close and sound like that, they like cousins. Okay? They might be like brother and sisters. Sometimes they like twins. Words are like family members. So these two words are very close in sound. That tells you that they are related. So when I say that you need an advisor, that you're going to trigger an adversary, that means you're going to trigger an advisor that's going to help you break this spell. And you asked for it. So let me give you an example. And I'm about to turn the air on because I'm hot in here. Any of y'all ever heard of Bobby Hemmett? If you heard of Bobby Hemmett, put your hand up. Let me go turn the air on because I'm hot. Anybody ever heard of Bobby Hemmett? Anybody ever heard of Bobby Hemmett? Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Put your hand. Thank you for all the hearts, y'all. Well, okay. If you haven't heard of Bobby Hemmett, I'm gonna tell you to look him up, but you're gonna have to be careful, okay? And the reason why I'm not saying be careful to scare you. I'm saying be careful because you might scare your damn self, okay? Because the stuff that he teach, if you a beginner to this, like understanding how we create our reality, understanding that you're God, understanding that you're also the devil, right? You're your own Satan. You're your own adversary. If you ain't on that level yet, he fitting to shake you up, okay? If you go watch any of his videos. The reason why I bring him up, okay, I see Northern Light say yes, I'm not sure if that's a he or a she, but you heard of Bobby Hemmett. So that's a good person to go look up on YouTube. His stuff is old. His stuff is old. Probably from like the 80s he was teaching this stuff. My point of bringing him up is that's where I started my awakening. That's one point where I started my awakening. When I was still deep into Christianity, and I was on the internet running my mouth, rah, because I'm an Aries, so I'm going to be loud in your face, and I'm definitely coming for you, and I'm definitely going to confront you. And people was challenging me about, my understanding of Jesus. And it was like, clutch my pearls, not my Jesus. And somebody said to me, Have you ever seen oh God, I can't remember what that show was. It was on Netflix at the time. I don't even remember what it was. But whatever it was a whole documentary, and it was about how a lot of the mythology that came out of Egypt was really where the story of Jesus came from. And so when I had the courage to break the spell, right? I was scared. I was so scared. I was very scared, but I still had the courage to break the spell and actually like start researching it and reading up on like, why does the story of Heru sound like the story of Jesus? Why do they have so many similarities? Why does Jesus have so many similarities to the sun? And so during that research, I came across Bobby Hemmett. He had a video called "What If God Was the Devil?" Woo, baby. Triggered. Triggered. Okay. He played the role of the adversary that challenged my cognitive dissonance, that challenged how I thought about the world and how we create and who I am and how I'm really, God in this reality, and I'm creating. Like, he challenged me to think. I used to be on the floor crying because I was so freaking confused. I'm saying all that to say that that's step one. For you to recreate your reality, you have to be triggered. Now, that was mine. I'm not saying that this has to be everybody's trigger. You're going to have to be triggered over and over and over again. There's a new devil for every level. Every time you want to shift into a higher reality, there's a new devil for every level, baby. You're going to have to keep facing them adversaries. You're going to have to keep facing them adversaries because you need a new advisor. You need a new advisor to show up and show you where you need to break the spell at. All right. So, now that you know that you need to break the spell of your cognitive dissonance, you're still in the fall period, right? The first step to self-realization is you being open-minded. That happens in the fall, before you go through your ego death. I don't like the term ego death. I know I keep saying it, but that's like a familiar term for most people. At least people that are into metaphysics, because I don't think that your ego really needs to die. You need your ego as part of your confidence. You have to know how to control that. Control it. It's your human. It helps you survive. Your ego will help you in a fight. Okay, a physical fight. Your ego will help you. You need it. Don't let nobody tell you that you don't need your ego. All right. So, what am I saying here? Okay, so yeah, you need to be open-minded. Now here's where we get into the science of the womb, okay? Because in order for you to be open-minded, that is the same as opening the womb. In order for you to, open womb, okay? Open the womb. In order for you to create new reality, I said I was only going to stay on here for 20 minutes. I know darn well it's been more than 20 minutes. In order for you to create a new reality, you have to open the womb, which is the same as you open in the mind. These two are the same. As above, so below. You know when you hear people say as above, so below? As above, so below. This works the same as this. This works the same as that. It's the same laws. The same laws apply. That's the reason why when I'm teaching these steps of self-realization of a goddess, of women understanding their goddess energy, their feminine energy, their ability to create whatever reality they want, I teach it from the perspective of them understanding their own womb. That makes it very easy and relatable to them. It makes it click just like that. Okay? So, if you want to create a new reality, you're going to have to open the mind, which is the same as opening the womb. Think about it. In order for a child to be born, the legs got to be open, okay? The womb has to be open to receive, and it has to be in receiving mode. The womb has to be fertile. Your mind needs to be fertile. That's why you got to break a lot of spells before you can even plant the proper seed in it, for you to shift into another reality, for you to have the courage to quit your job and really stand firm in your business, for you to have the courage to possibly leave some type of toxic relationship that you're in, whatever story or narrative that you're telling yourself that you're stuck in, and somehow you're telling yourself that you can't do that. Somewhere you are telling yourself that you can't do something. You lying. That's your human side. That's your ego that's afraid because it's trying to survive. That's telling you that you can't do something. I'm here to tell you that you can do whatever you want. You're not afraid. You know that you can do the thing that you want to do. What you're afraid of is the consequence that comes from it. You could go rob a bank right now if you wanted to, couldn't you? Couldn't you? But you know that there's consequences to that. So that's why you don't do that. You are free to do whatever you want to do. It is just that you don't want to deal with the consequences that come with it. But when you know that you create your reality, you get a little bit more risky. You get a lot more risky. When you trust in the divine, you get a lot more risky. When you trust that you are in alignment with divine in your decision making, you get a lot more risky. So that's why you got to be open-minded enough to even make it happen, okay? You have to start questioning yourself. You have to go through the process of, who am I? Do you really even ask yourself that question? Who am I? What am I here for? What am I here to do? How am I here to take care of myself? What gifts do I have to take care of myself? This is the first step to that. And this is why a lot of y'all are stuck, because you're not even asking yourself those questions. Some of y'all are just under such a spell that you just go through life never even asking yourself, do I really have something deeper that I'm supposed to be doing here? It's such a shame. That just hurt my heart. Like, I literally felt that. Woo! I don't know if that's y'all, somebody energy that I just picked up on my own, but I just felt like I want to cry. I just felt like I want to cry, because it's just so sad to walk around every day and not know yourself and just be like a robot almost, like a programmed robot. Okay, Kamisha, get yourself together. So when I say that you need to break the law, which I had that up there earlier, now let me write it again, because I'm getting ready to go into a little bit more details about what I mean by break the law. Let me erase this. I'm gonna erase all this. We still here, okay? Just so y'all know, this is all part of the first step. Actually, to be clear, let me remind y'all that this is part of an entire course. So if you just jumped on and you're like, what is she talking about? I'm giving you a tiny part of an entire course called Self-Realization of a Goddess. You can go to my bio, click the link. Just go to my bio, start clicking stuff around. You'll see stuff, okay? But this one class, it has 1, 2, 3 steps in it. Right now, we're here. we are in here. We are at Open-mindedness, or Opening the Womb is what the name of that class is. All right? So what you're getting right now is just this one part, and you're getting such a tiny part, tiny piece of this. You probably think it's long because I've been on here talking. Trust me, it's just because I talk a lot. But you're really getting like a tiny piece of this. Okay. So what's next here? Oh, the breaking the law. What does it really mean for you to break the law? For you to break the law. For you to break the law, it really means for you to change your belief system. Change belief system. Now, when I say break the law, I'm talking about the things that you have been programmed with since you have been a child. Thought processes that you have been programmed with since you've been a child. Like, for example, your belief system around money. Right? You probably think that money is in the bank, or it's in your pocket or in your pocketbook. That's not real money. That's a manifestation of money. But that's not real money. Money comes from up here. Money comes from a mint, which this is a mental, right? Money comes from a mint, what we call a mint. Money is made in a mint, right? M-I-N-T. I'm playing, yes, I'm playing with the words. I call it word magic, but it's going to help you reprogram how you think, right? So money is made in a mint, M-I-N-T, but this is the real mint. This is the mental. So that's an example of you needing to change your belief system. There's a lot of belief systems that you need to change in order for you to really create a reality that you love to live in. You might be wondering, like, well, what do you do? What kind of reality do you live in? I ain't saying that my life is perfect, but I'm definitely living a life that most people are not. I work for myself. I teach. I do what I love to do every day. I teach metaphysics. I get on here and I teach metaphysics, and I host classes, and I go to different cities and teach my classes. I got a retreat coming up to Aruba. I live in Florida, the Sunshine State. I just moved here in February. I'm from Philly though. But you know, I live 15 minutes from the beach. It's a pool right outside my community. I do most of my work on the computer outside on the patio. Like, I am free in that sense. Okay, so if you was wondering, like, well, what do I do? What kind of reality did I create for myself? That's the reality that I created for myself. Back in 2018, I quit my job. I was working at the post office for 22 years. And I had an awakening, and I went through this whole process of self-realization. And then I started teaching it to others. And that's how I started getting paid to speak. Like, people started asking me to come to their city to teach it. Okay, let me get back. I just wanted to share that with y'all, because somebody might have been thinking, well, what do you even do? That's what I do. I do what I'm doing right now, full time. And I love it. It's my purpose. It's my purpose and my duty, and it's how I serve. All right. So you gotta change the belief system, which is the old program. Now listen, this is where it gets deep at. This is where it gets deep. You changing your old belief system and your old program. The reason why I said it gets deep is because the programming started in the womb. The program that you need to change and the belief system that was impressed upon you started in the womb. It really started before you even entered the womb. Because a lot of people don't like to believe, they get mad when I say this, but you chose your mommy and daddy. You chose your mommy and daddy because of a belief system that you carry with you from one life to another. So anyway, when you are in the womb, your mother's thoughts, emotions, the narrative that she's talking to herself, you're inside of her, she's talking to herself. She's impressing that belief system on you. So when I say that, you have a lot of work to do as far as changing your belief system and reprogramming yourself. It's that deep. It's not like, okay, I'm gonna just do some affirmations. You know, I am beautiful, I am kind. It's deeper than that. You need to go back to the womb. And listen, there is a scripture in the Bible. I'm using the Bible because the Bible is a metaphysical book. If you're taking it like it's a physical, like if you're taking it like it's a history book, you're going to be lost. It's a metaphysical book. It's a law book about universal law. Okay? But anyway, I'll do a class on that one day. But in the Bible, there is a scripture where Jesus is talking to a character called Nicodemus. And he tells Nicodemus, you must be born again. You must be born again. And Nicodemus says, how can you be born again? You can't go back into your mother's womb. But you can. You can go back into your mother's womb. Not your physical mother. No, you can't go back into your physical mother's womb, but that's not your real mother. Come on, somebody. I don't know if I want to get this deep. Listen, this live is going to come down. So if you are enjoying this and you liking what I'm talking about, make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you go up to the link in my bio and check out the classes that I have there. I actually have a class up there called The Divine Feminine in the Bible. Let me pause and just talk about that for just a second. If you go to the link in my bio, there's a class up there under where it says metaphysical classes, and it's called the Divine Feminine in the Bible. Now, it's actually 4 classes in there for one price, for $25, $25.99. Okay? If you serious, because this is going to come down, and some of y'all probably like, oh wow, I can go back into my mother's womb. That class, the Divine Feminine in the Bible, is going to open your mind up to helping you understand that the Bible don't say what you think that it say. It has a lot to do with the mother aspect of God and the Divine Feminine. Okay? Now, getting back to the conversation between Nicodemus and Jesus. Nicodemus said, I can't go back into my mother's womb. You telling me I need to be born again? No, Jesus is telling you, you need to go back to your cosmic mother. You must be born again. You need to go back to your cosmic mother. For you to really understand how you're creating your reality, you need to go back to your cosmic mother. You need to be born again. You need to go through the process that you went through in the womb while you are awakened. You're outside of the womb now. Well, you're still in a womb because we're in a matrix, and matrix means womb. And matrix means womb. People always say that we're in a matrix. Yeah, matrix means womb. So we're still in the Divine Mother. We're still inside of her. So in order for you to understand how this matrix functions, for you to recreate your reality and reprogram yourself, you have to go back to the Divine Mother. That's why my course is called Self-Realization of a Goddess, because it is about you realizing the Divine Feminine inside of you. Whether you are a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. Somebody said reincarnation. Exactly. But I'm talking, you can reincarnate now. Blades World Barbershop. You don't have to wait till you die. You don't have to wait until you die to reincarnate. You can do that now while you're living. When you change your consciousness into a whole nother character, people see you and they like, damn, you nowhere near the same person that you used to be. When people come across me and they knew me when I was like, I don't know, early 30s, like 31, they be like, you a totally different person. Yeah, I reincarnated. Now, that's how you create a whole new reality. You shift into a different timeline or a different mindset or a different dimension because you completely changed your consciousness. Sometimes you might even look a little bit different. You might look a little bit different. So yes, it's reincarnation, but you could do that now. You must be born again. Go into the womb of the cosmic mother. Remember I said up here, it said opening the mind and it said opening the womb. Go back to her. You need to go back to her for you to really understand this. For you to I don't know if I can stress it or not. For you to really understand how you're creating your reality, you gotta, don't it make common sense that this is where you was created at to begin? This is the process of creation. So if you really want to understand the process of creation, you need to study the womb, which is a metaphor for the cosmic mother, or the cosmic mother is a metaphor for the womb, however you want to look at it. If you skipping past that, that's why you still struggling. Well, let me not say struggling. That's why you still are like trying to figure out like, how does this actually work? And I'm not claiming that I know everything, but I do know that if you want to understand how you're creating your reality and you want to break this original belief system that you got when you came here through your physical mother, you need to go back to your original mother. You need to go back to your original mother. Let me show you something. I'm going to show you the word mother. Mother. Okay? Earlier I had up here that in order for you to have the awakening that you get when you go through the process of self-realization. By the way, tag your friend or something in here. Don't be stingy. Share me. Don't be stingy. Don't be stingy with me, y'all. Okay? If you think that one of your friends would like to understand this or hear this, share the video. Okay? But so earlier I said that in order to go through self-realization, you have to go through the process of fall, winter, spring, and summer. So for those of you that is just coming on, Oh, look, y'all, we got what's that? Thurkey Goody. We got somebody under cognitive dissonance. They're under a spell. Poor baby. Poor baby. Poor baby. Just you can hang out with us if you want to, though. He's one of the people that I was talking about earlier. They're under a spell and they don't even know it. How do you get somebody to wake up out of spell and they are under the spell? They need an adversary. That's what I was saying earlier. Thank you for being part of my TED Talk. That is why someone like that, they need somebody to trigger the fuck out of them. Excuse my language. But they need somebody to really trigger them hard, to like shake them hard and like slap them. Have y'all ever seen the movie They Live? Have y'all ever seen the movie They Live? Go look it up. It's a really old movie from, I think, like the 80s. And there's this long fight scene on there. As a matter of fact, I use this scene when I'm teaching self-realization of a goddess in my class. I pull up this scene on YouTube. So you can go on YouTube and look it up. But it's a fight between like a white guy and a black guy. And the black guy is asleep. Of course, the melanated guy is asleep. And the white guy is like one of his closest friends, and he keep trying to tell him that all of this shit is fake. None of this shit is real. He had these glasses that when he put the glasses on, the glasses would show him that you are under a program. Y'all, the scene with him and this man fighting was like 20 minutes long. Have y'all ever seen that movie? If you've seen the movie They Live, put a thumbs up in the comments. The scene with them, they was tussling on this ground for so long. I mean, it was a violent fight. He kept trying to force him to put the glasses on so that he could see that it was all a program and that the black guy was under a spell. That is what happens when somebody has cognitive dissonance. That is what happens when somebody's under a spell and somebody is a truth teller and they're trying to get them to understand you are a creator of your reality. You are a little God underneath the law of big God, but you speak things into reality. You have the same authority over your own mind. That man did not want to hear that. That's what it looks like. That's exactly what it looks like. So he needed an adversary. He needed somebody that was going to fight him and challenge him. It ain't going to be me though. I ain't coming here to fight with nobody, okay? He said I'm under the spell too. Okay. Listen, this how deep I'm under the spell that you claim it. I don't argue with people. I don't argue with them. I'm talking to my other audience about people that are under a spell. Anyway, let me move on because you about to have me caught up in your shenanigans. You done came and disrupted my class. Go to the back of the class. You done came and disrupted my class. Go sit in the back of the class. Okay? All right. So, I was talking about the word mother. Completely disrupted me. That's my bad. Now, I said that you have to go through the cycle of fall, winter, spring, and summer. That is a rhythm. You know Janet Jackson's song, "We are a part of the rhythm nation." Now, I know I can't sing. And I don't know if she was trying to tell us that we are under a rhythm nation. Nation means womb, by the way. Do it mean womb or mother in the Bible? Verified to continue. Wow, not y'all interrupting my damn live to make sure that I'm a real person. Oh, they about to cut me off. They tell me I've been talking too much. All right, let me do this real quick. When we look at the word mother, I'm going to write it backwards. I'm going to write it a little bit backwards. RETHOM. Now it says rhythm. We are a part of the rhythm nation, right? Because the mother's energy represents the cosmic rhythm of the creation cycle. She is the fall, winter, spring, and summer. And the fall, winter, spring, and summer is mocking the menstrual cycle, which is the cycle of creation. It's part of the process of creation. So the mother's Rhythm was running all of this. All right, and let me get off here. Thank you to everybody who joined, even the cognitive dissonance people, even the people that's under a spell. I love y'all. I will be doing these every Friday, by the way. So if you're still hanging on, make sure that you follow me, because every Friday I'm going to go live and I'm going to teach a class. But if you want to really get into more details, go to my bio and look at the metaphysical classes and sign up for one. All right? See ya. I never know how to get off here. Where's the damn end button?